Hello, investors. This is Ted Zhang, portfolio manager at Revere Asset Management. Today is Tuesday, August 12th, 5:10 p.m. coming to you from Vienna, Virginia, with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Stay in the market. We are in an uptrend. Looking at the GROTECTION gauge, we still haven't upgraded to four coveted arrows yet, but we are extremely close. Market leaders with the green up arrow, short term. All indexes are now above the 21 EMA, but we are waiting for one more follow through day for a second close above the 21 EMA before we do move that short term trend to the fourth green arrow. But we do have that sub green arrow currently on the screen right now. Medium term trend has been up and remains up, and long term trend is still up. What happened today? Favorable CPI sparks broad rally. As you can see, the entire board is green. Crypto is massively green, and we will review that action. 21 over 21 list up 2.64%. 20 stocks up, one neutral, zero down. Turbo 12 up 3.43%. 10 stocks up, zero neutral, two down. Big 8 mega caps up 1.14%. RGA up 2.26%. SP 500 up 1.13%. RSP up 1.27%. QQQ up 1.26%, QQW up 1.24%, Dow Jones up 1.10%, mid caps up 2.31%, Russell small caps up a whopping 2.99%, Global 60/40 equities bonds up 0.64%, and GROTECTION up 1.28%, TurboTection up 1.92%. So, jumping right into it, as always, starting off with this chart of the S&P 500. Really not much to say today. New all-time highs out of this flag out this quick pullback with the fears of economic slowdown quickly reclaimed the 21 EMA, and we're back into new all-time highs in this trend. Accumulation day with the increase in volume. RSP looked like it was bear flagging under the 821, but today it popped above the shelf of the 8 and 21 EMA. Q's another all-time high on elevated volume. Great action. QQEW also looking to pop above this shelf. If we can highlight this, still not quite yet, but it is not breaking down, and so that is a great sign. Dow Jones Industrial Average popped out of this recent range, this little box right here, above the 28 and 21 exponential moving averages on increased volume. Mid caps, wedge popped as well above the 8 and 21 EMA, looking great. Russell, huge move out of this super tight consolidation into new higher highs off the heels of favorable CPI, which I will go over soon. The VIX cracks 15 and puts in a 14 handle. Like I said previously in this area right here, when we're all above 20 or near 20, if we can get to the 10 to 15 zone, that can really present a nice smooth uptrend. Dollar fails the undercut reclaim, continues its downtrend. There's nothing much to say here. Gold still just in this huge range, this 291 to 318 range, continuing to build its base. Point out the power of 3, 8, 21, and 50 are pretty much stacked on top of each other. So that is extremely, extremely, extremely tight. But as you can see, it has been lagging the S&P 500. Silver building higher lows, looking to flag here above 35 is viable. But there's just much better other opportunities, faster opportunities elsewhere here that can do 2x the S&P 500, which we target for. Or else why not just own SSO or UPRO? Next, Bitcoin, right now back above 120,000. Yesterday, when you examine the action closer, it looks like shorts just got squeezed at night when there's lower volume, and there weren't as many natural buyers yet, and that led to the reversal. But not only did we hold yesterday's lows, we are reclaiming 120K here. The the 8 is back above the 21, or this is a 10 is back above the 20. And this looks great. Let's see what happens here. If we take out 123,000 area, that will give us probably the next leg higher. And this hourly chart looks great right now. Um, as we reclaim 120K. Let's see what happens overnight. Ethereum, absolutely monstrous action out of this like over 1 year base, over 4,100, and it's just taken off out of this flag. It's already up 21%, 25%. Over 4,100, it's up 12%. And when you look at the weekly chart, just amazing. 4 year base above this double bottom pivot, and now it's heading for that 4,900, 5,000 area. So if you missed this, if you don't have big enough size, now's the time to look for the next flag, the next consolidation, next pullback maybe to 4,100, or flag up at around 4,900 to make more add-on buys. The 10 is above the 20, which is now above the 30. The moving average is starting to align here. You can see all the moving averages are rising, but the 20 and 30 is still below the 40. So I expect those to get aligned first before we really have a smooth and big move. As you can see, all major moves are above the 10, 20, 30, 40 week moving averages in this period, and then all big macro down moves are below the 10, 20, 30, and 40 period moving averages, like this area and this area here in 2022. So Ethereum so strong, it is the leader right now, and we'll see what it does around 4,900. Other altcoins are extraordinarily strong as well. Solana is starting to perk up here, back above this 188 area. But this base still needs a little bit of work, although it's starting to get ready. Maybe we run up to 210 and consolidate here. Look at the weekly chart. Still a bit messy. Moving averages are all over the place, but this is getting tight here. Building higher lows, one higher low, two higher lows. So this is starting to get ready as well. XRP, just a beautiful daily chart. You look at the weekly chart, it looks great as well. So continuing on, let's talk about some bonds. Enough of the altcoins, which I've talked about before in the podcast. Really, bonds didn't really make a big move off the CPI. 2 years down a few basis points, breaking this bear flag, so that's good. 10 year is was up 1 basis point today, so not a whole lot of movement in bonds. And with that being said, that is it for the inter-asset correlation. And now I'm going to bring up the tail of the tape. Significant action, notable action on the tail of the tape. Sentiment dropped below the 15 handle, 14.73. CNN up to 63 plus 4 is actually into the greedy territory now, not neutral. Still operating on the bull case above the 21 EMA. Today's news, we had CPI. CPI month over month came in line 0.2 versus 0.2. CPI core month over month came in at 0.3 versus 0.3, so that was in line. CPI headline year over year came in lower than expected, 2.7 versus 2.8, and then core came above expected, 3.1 versus 3.0. Pretty much expected action or expected numbers, but the markets loved it. And we can look here, go to bookmarks, Fed watch tool. We have a 94% probability for a rate cut coming this September. And we've seen that being priced into mid caps, small caps with their outsized moves today. So that is a great sign. And we'll continue to move on here. Let's go to let's see. Let's go to the tail of the tape once again. Today's keys, S&P versus the 8 EMA, 21 EMA, 6,400. We closed above all of it into all-time highs. The NASDAQ Qs versus the 8 EMA, 21 EMA, and 575. We also closed at a new all-time high. And then Russell wedge popped above the 8 and 21 EMA with strong power. Day count, down one to up one. 5 days above the 8 EMA, 7 days above the 21 EMA. Short-term expectations are, of course, positive. Strong sectors today. Bond yields are up. All 8 S&P 500 sector ETFs. Home builders, carry, IWM were standouts. Semiconductors and cyber was strong today too. Bonds were down. Dollar was down. Oil was down as well as gold. Grow, we bought TNA, which is the small cap 3x leverage. Great little pivot out of there. IWM is here. That's just tremendous. Higher low, super tight pivot, and a catalyst off CPI. Rocket Labs, I mean, it's not Rocket Labs, sorry. Rocket Mortgages or Rocket Company. Also interest rate sensitive in the home builder area. Bounced off the 8 EMA and we continued higher. We took a position there as well and grow. And then finally, you can see lots of SE on this earnings gapper out of the new base. 391% year-over-year earnings, 38% year-over-year revenues. So that looks great right now. Actually, that was last earnings. They haven't updated for this earnings yet, but there's great action here. With that being said, RVAB in GROTECTION 1.61, 7.41% open heat. In Turbo, we bought TNA as well. I won't show the chart again. And we bought Nail. IGB is the 1X. Above the 200-day, bounce off the 200-day yesterday. You can see these skyscraper accumulation bars. Then we resolved higher as well if we look at the 60-minute. Broke the downtrend line and on volume today. We also sold Webull. This was the only red name in the portfolio. This daily chart um, does not show the full picture of the chart, but on a weekly you can see coupled handle recent IPO riding the 10-week moving average. There's only red stock in the portfolio, and after a day like today, we'd rather get out of it and redeploy that capital elsewhere. 2.16 beta, 7.87% open heat. The bottom line is favorable CPI sparks broad rally. So continue on now. I will just go over the 21 over 21 list as well as the Turbo 12, and then we will wrap it up for today's video. So let me get that up. 21 over 21 list. As you remember from the front page, 20 stocks were up, and I believe one was neutral. Yeah, one neutral. So we're just going to go over the top 5 to 8-ish names to not completely waste your time. A-Lab in Turbo gapped up out of this IPO base and just has continued to trickle higher. Triple-digit earnings and sales for 4 quarters in a row. Just amazing fundamentals. RKT got this and grow, interest rate sensitive name. CRDO continued just to ride the 8 higher. Great action here. Had this shakeout, scare shakeout day. Found support at the top of the base and continued higher. SoFi, also interest rate sensitive name because they do deal with some lending. Sloppy action post earnings, but it seems like we're starting to trickle higher here. BST power generation name finds support at the 21 EMA and continues riding it higher. MU, semis are strong today, building the right side of this cup after earnings in 44 days. RS line broke that downtrend, so we'll see what happens at this 130 level. This looks pretty good. If we can build some sideways here like that. DoorDash continues higher as well, riding the 21. NP riding the 8 after the earnings. ANET gapped up out of the base into all-time highs and just super tight action. STX continues to ride the 8 and 21 EMA. Palantir, extraordinary action as well. Gapped up and continues to trickle higher. On the downside, it was just Carvana that was down 0.04%, holding the 50-day pretty much at the 21 EMA here. Volume has dried up. Finally, Turbo 12. The big mover today was Oklo on earnings, reclaimed 21 and the 8 EMA. AMSC gapped up on earnings, pulled back to 50 and building a flag here. You can see some sort of flag like that. KTOS out of earnings, continuing to float higher, aerospace defense name. METC breaking out as well out of this flag. Great action. A little sloppy in this flag, but is moving higher. I bought it out of that previous high of the day, and this looks good. Webull sold it, but still acting well. XRPI is the XRP ETF. We own it Turbo. We actually decided to buy the XXRP, the 2X ETF, because it is much more liquid. But this is acting really well, and I want to show the XRP chart real quick. It's cup with handle, just beautiful action. Just amazing. Cup with handle on the weekly chart here. Super tight. Semina, new highs after earnings. RGTI, earnings August 12th. And so that's actually today. Let's see what happens. It's down 4% after hours, so maybe it already reported. I'll have to check on that later, but there's a really nice higher low flag here. So let's see what happens there. SoundHound, pretty much flat day today, but perfect action post gap. Good revenue growth at 217%. And then Hinge, pull back to the top of the base, found support at 8 EMA. That looks good. Irene, bearish engulfing yesterday, fall through today. There's still a lot of supply at this 20 area, and then finally Galaxy, super choppy, looking to build a flag above this 25 level. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up for today's video. This is Ted Zhang. If you're interested in what we do at Revere Asset Management or just have any questions, you can email me at ted@revereasset.com. My Twitter X is Ted H. Zhang. Our phone is 855 Real Wealth. That is 855-732-5932. Website's revereasset.com. And we're at Revere Asset on all social media platforms as well. YouTube, X, Instagram, and TikTok. So please like, share, and subscribe. And with that being said, this is Ted Zhang, portfolio manager at Revere Asset Management, telling it like it is. Thank you for listening and have a great rest of your day.